Greetings, Iain from RTO here. It's still raining, as it was when we did the Motley Crue. Welcome to a classic album review, and this week we're going to look at an album that a lot of people love, and I love this album, and it's Tommy Bolin's Teaser. Thomas Richard Bolin, born the 1st of August 1951. Sadly left us on the 4th of December 1976. But in his very short career he got himself a big name. I mean, he started with Zephyr and he was in the band from 69 to 71. Then he was in the James Gang, which really started it. He was only in for a year but got himself a reputation, and then joined Deep Purple in 75 to 76, and in that time he did make a couple of solo albums and appeared on lots of people's songs as a session musician. But in 1975 he released his debut solo album Teaser, and it was released in conjunction with the album Come Taste the Band by Deep Purple, which he also played on, so they sort of made them round about the same time. As I said, this album is cherished by fans for the broad range of styles in Bolin's playing. The material spans hard rock, blues, rock and roll, jazz and reggae and Latin. He was a really good guitarist. I think that people give him because he couldn't play the Ritchie Blackmore stuff on for Deep Purple, but you know, two different sort of guitarists, and he was more in what Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale wanted with Deep Purple, so I can understand why he was brought in, because the tracks off Come Taste the Band are pretty cool. So on this album, you've got Tommy Bolin, who plays lead guitar and vocals, Stanley Sheldon on the bass on a few of the tracks, Paul Stallworth does the bass, David Foster piano and synthesizer, a certain Jan Hammer plays synthesizer and drums on this. Got Ron Franzen on the piano, David Sanborn on saxophone, Jeff Porcaro on drums, Morris Parain Prince on drums, Michael Walden does drums on them, Bobby Burge, Phil Collins, just percussion on track 4. There's a name you didn't expect to see on the album. Sammy Figueroa percussion, Ralph Cruz percussion, backing vocals Dave Brownlee, Kiefer backing vocals, and then you've got Glenn Hughes, who sings lead vocals on the final verse of Dreamer, but due to contractual reason was not credited, but you know it is Mr. Hughes. So the first track on this one is called The Grind. Now this is a brilliant track. It's a great vocal from Tommy, and some of the technical guitar playing on this is fantastic. I love that rhythm he gets on the guitar, and that solo is brilliant. I love this track, always have. Homeward Strut, very soulful. Reminds me, so there's a couple of tracks on the Come Taste the Band that are in this sort of vein, but this just shows the versatility of Tommy Bolin. Such a great guitar player, very underrated, but this is a terrific track. Then we get Dreamer, another great track. Great work from Tommy again. I do like the piano on this, very, very good. And this is the track that the percussion is done by Mr. Philip Collins. Then we get Savannah Woman, just one of them soulful songs, jazzy funky guitar on this one, really good, it really works. And then we get Teaser, the title track, one of my favourite tracks that Tommy done. Just love the guitar work on this, absolutely brilliant. People, a really catchy tune. It's got that reggae feel to it, it really works, and apart from being a good guitar player, Tommy was not a bad singer. Marching Powder, so funky, and the guitar solo is funky as well. It's a great track. Wild Dogs, now everyone must know this one. It's my favourite track on the album. It appears on the live album for Deep Purple, but this is brilliant. It's a great track live, but oh, this is just a brilliant track. I do love the keyboards on this. It's a great vocal, a great guitar, fantastic track. Then we get Lotus, some nice riffs on this. I love the gentleness, some of the textures on the guitar. Really, really good. So that was the last track. So when it came out, it was received with praise from the critics. But however, due to Bolin's obligations with Deep Purple, he was unable to promote the tour with a solo tour. Despite Emperor adding a guitarist for Deep Purple sticker to the wrapping, sales were not as good as he hoped. But Deep Purple, what they did do, they did play Homeward Strut and Wild Dogs off the teaser album during their world tour, which is pretty good. And apparently Van Halen used to play the ground in the earlier days. So they sort of, I like how Deep Purple did play then, and Wild Dogs is terrific. It's a huge talent. A huge talent with a troubled mind, I think. Taken at such an early age. I think if he'd have lived, he'd have turned out to be one of the great guitar players in our generation. There'd have been lots of albums from him, and I'm sure he'd have appeared on all sorts of stuff as well. I do like this album. I like both of them. They're both studio albums. They're pretty cool. And there's not a bad track on this album, to be quite honest. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So there we have it. That's today. Tomorrow we have got part 3 of Gary Moore, and we've moved on to Colosseum 2. Raised out of the ashes of Colosseum, and this is where he played with Don Airey and Neil Murray, Mr. Wiseman, sorry. So it's a pretty good, so we're going to look at that. And then tomorrow's retro ranking, we're going back to the 70s. We're going back to when I was 7 and 8, and a band that I loved, and it's the Rubettes. Their style of rock and roll. Lots of childhood memories for that one. So that's what we got tomorrow. Here in the UK, enjoy your bank holiday. Sit and watch videos or watch telly, because it's not going to be nice outside. Certainly not here in Northampton. So have a good day, everybody, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.